Hello, everyone. Welcome to another interesting time on planet Earth. And we are just before Easter here in Australia. Tomorrow is Good Friday. And for many Christians around the world, it is a time of remembering what the period is for. And it's not really around chocolates. However, that's where the focus seems to be. But there are so many things happening around us at the moment. It's our ability to observe and for ourselves be quite discerning what they mean, because sometimes we're showing things that are not always for our best interest, or they're shown to us right in front of our face and we just simply dismiss it or not even contemplate it at all. And I think what, if anything, over the last period of time, it's really been about to be discerning and to think for yourself and take your own power when you start to see things. Now, I'll give you a little example. A couple of days ago, Katy Perry went up in a rocket. What surprised me about that is, from what I've seen in the past, that every time an astronaut gets in a rocket, they're strapped down and they have helmets, and it takes quite a period of time for them to travel upwards. And normally, if you watch a rocket, it sort of doesn't go straight, it sort of goes like that. But anyway, the rocket that they went in, it was a really strange shape. It almost looked phallic symbol, and it went straight up. And immediately you see a vision of the people in the rocket. Oh, isn't this wonderful? Oh, look, there's the moon. And oh, we can see the blue line and all the rest of it. And then you were showing the images on the screen of her getting into it and going up and then getting out with her friends, all in their blue suits. And you think, oh, isn't that wonderful? Katy Perry's been up in space for 10 minutes, except she didn't go up in space because of, if you just think about it logically. But it was an absolute symbol. And we are showing a lot of symbols in this world that we just disregard and say, oh, isn't that nice? So at this time of year, as we move into Easter, and tomorrow here in Australia is Good Friday, we tend to forget the real meaning of what it is to be human, not to focus on pain and suffering as the church would have you focus, that Jesus died on the cross for you, so you should suffer as well. That is not the God or the real meaning if you go back and look at the original text. However, everything is fairly symbolic. And so as we move into Easter, this is the time of the year that I hold a resurrection class just after Easter. And this year it will be on Tuesday, the 22nd, which for the US will be the Monday, the 21st. And the importance of this and why I'm doing it after Easter is because during Easter, there are some symbols and rituals taking place that have nothing to do with Christianity at all. In fact, it's anything against Christianity, but not just that, any religion. It's anti-life. There are definitely some symbolic and blood sacrifice happening, and I don't want to go into it more than that. So I do the technology of Grigori Grabovoi called the Resurrection, and it comes from a book called The Resurrection of People and Eternal Life. From now on, it's our reality. This is a book that is been written by Grigori Grabovoi some time ago, and it goes into understanding our connection to the omnipresence of the Creator. It goes into understanding more about our soul, about our spirit, about our consciousness, and also about why it's important to have a physical body. And interesting, many religions actually tell you to forget about the physical body and not worship it, but your physical body is the temple of your soul. And so it's not about worshiping, but it is about looking after it, just like people look after their car. You need to look after your body, and the body always gives you signals when things are not working in harmony. So in Grigori Grabovoi's book, when I first started in the teachings back in 2011, I had this overlay of Christianity over my thinking about that on resurrection, things would be coming out of the grave and there'd be some sort of something like Michael Jackson's Thriller movie happening as zombie type people are arising. And really, that's not what it's about at all. So you mightn't have realized that humans hold a very special coding within them. They hold the coding of our connection to the Creator. We also hold the coding of life. We also have the coding of reality, of the structure of this world. We are, in fact, creators. Our consciousness is always creating. And during the period of time when we're locked down, when there was a massive program to really keep sending a program into people's consciousness and harvest the way that they're thinking to go down an agenda. So people forget how powerful they are. And as I say to our community, when systems are after something particularly and they drive it all the time really solidly, then you have to sit back and say, why are they doing that? Why would they do that? Is this for life or is it against life? And it does require discernment. And for many of you who are listening to this message, you will know where you sit with that, because truth is like etched into every cell of your being and into your heart, where you have that beautiful soul connection. So Grabovoi explains the technology of resurrection. Yes, it's a technology. It's not a miracle, and it's already been happening, and it's very well documented. As you would see in his book, there is some documentation in English, some explanation, and a good half the rest of the book is notary documented. So unfortunately in Russian. And so he goes through understanding the technology. And you might think, well, why would I want to bring mum, dad, or anyone back at this time? And that's because we have the overlaying thinking of, 3D. And in fact, bringing people, as Grabovoi would call them, the gone ones back, is important. People want to come back from the realm that they are in, because they can see that this period of time we're in is extremely important. It's the Great Awakening, and it mightn't feel like that sometimes, but it certainly is. And we're in a trajectory that it can't be stopped. And so in bringing back the gone ones into the world, you bring back the fifth dimensional abilities that we all have to teleport, telekinesis, to manifest, uh, telepathy. I might have said that already, but all our gifts as well. And it's important because they bring it then as a structure, like a solid bit of knowledge back into the world. And so it's important that we bring them. Now, why do they need us to do that if they can bring themselves? Because firstly, we give them the impulse and the message, would you like to be brought back into the structure of the world through a term called resurrection? And then the person, the soul, has the opportunity to decide whether they do or don't want to come back. It's absolute freedom to choose. Let me tell you, there are a lot of souls that want to be back at this time. And so at the same time, the Creator also sends a permanent beam of light to invite the person back. Now, we, the people that are living here on Earth, help the gone ones to come back into the structure of the world. So during the resurrection control, we'll be going through a process of inviting the gone ones, those who wish to come back, to understand the structure of a body, and they come back in the body that they left generally, and they come back as a younger person. So generally in their 20s and 30s, if they have died when they're older. And then they start to come back into the world. And there's about 13 steps for them to go through to do that. And certainly there's a lot more in Grabovoi's books. In fact, he has 50 ways for resurrection, and not all of them are extremely long. But think of it like this. When somebody passes, what happens? They drop their physical body, their spirit is left, the essence of them left, the energy of them has left. Their soul doesn't go anywhere. The soul sits as a spherical structure, like in another doorway and like in another dimension. Their consciousness is still there, but they can't develop unless they have a physical body in this realm. And so this, as a soul, all souls want to develop. All souls want to gain extra knowledge to understand, even though they have all the wisdom of their previous lives, all the wisdom of this life, and also their divine connection with the Creator. However, it is their wish to be here. And so we invite them back to be part of the world again. We need people who hold the structure of higher consciousness and the structure of divinity for all humanity and the planet, and help us to restore heaven on earth again, Eden, the golden age. And I'm sure you've heard all that before. So I will be going through this on Tuesday, and I invite you to join me to go through that to counter anything that is happening at this time. And I don't want to really go into that. Have I done research on it and understand what is happening? Yes, I have, but I don't want to pay my attention to it. I know it happens, and that's all I want to say on it. What I'm doing is then we're actually then anchoring a huge light into the structure of our world that will counter any dark forces, any nefarious agendas that are planned at this time. And we have to bring all those who have been part of an unharmonious ritual during this time and help to invite them back into the world. Now, just one thing I have to say for all of you who have lots of questions, and I know you must have a few because I did. If you think mum or dad are coming knocking on the door and saying, honey, I'm home, that's not actually what happens. The person has the ability to choose what they will do in back in this plane. They will choose what they have. They are given all the things they will need because they come back with their fifth dimension. No, you don't have to return any money you were gifted from them. They already know how to create in this world. So that's all I'll say now. I'll do a little preamble again on Tuesday just to help relieve anybody. And of course, if there's any questions, absolutely put them in here so I can answer you before you jump on. And you'll find the link to the webinars for Tuesday. There'll be the morning here in Australia will be for the US, Canadian and Australian. And then in the evening, we'll have another session, which is the same, which will be for the UK and Europe and Australia. So there'll be two sessions on Tuesday. You think that you'll be with us for a good hour and a bit because it takes about 40 minutes to go through the resurrection, and I will guide you all the way. All you have to do is turn up with your beautiful heart and openness to perhaps move into something that you haven't heard before, and to really feel for yourself what it's like to help to invite somebody back into the world. Anyway, if you're not joining us on Tuesday and any apart from that, have a wonderful Christmas. Have a wonderful Easter with your family and friends, or anything that you're doing if you're going away, or if you're just simply having a beautiful time at home like I will be. I'm painting the inside of our house, so I'm creating some newness. So whatever you're doing, have a wonderful Easter, everybody. And I'll see all those who are going to join us on Tuesday in the webinar. Bye for now.